Madam Speaker. Today I'd like to speak about the assault on free speech in my Murray electorate and across New South Wales. Every day people come to me with serious complaints about our government. They talk about those people are from our hospitals, our schools, our council, irrigation corporations and services. The complaints are different, but they all say the same thing at the end of the conversation. Helen, please, please, please don't reveal my name. In the first world democracy, grown men and women are terrified to use their name. And why wouldn't they be scared? We are seeing government gag people and silence dissent like never before. Earlier this month, a counter-terrorism police squad burst into the home of journalist Kristo Langker, pinned him to the ground, charged him and arrested him. The squad arrested Kristo following a complaint by the New South Wales Deputy Premier. The most powerful man in New South Wales felt intimidated by a 21-year-old, half his weight, so much so he needed to involve the police. It's true that Kristo approached the Deputy Premier in a public setting twice. Absolutely true. Just like comedians from The Chaser or Channel 9 journalists have often approached politicians in the street. The question is, will they continue to do so? The events of this month would make every journalist think twice about approaching our elected leaders. Maybe that's the aim. The Friendlyjordies were about to release a documentary on the National Party water corruption and illegal water use.
Member for Murray, I'm just going to stop the clock for a moment. I don't want to take your time away, but I'm aware that you moved a motion earlier in the week, as did the member for Balmain, on this issue. And it was one that I was considering. So I'm just going to make those comments now and ask you to take them into account, the comments that I have been contemplating in terms of sub-judice. And I just wanted to make those comments on the nature of the Sub-judice Convention. The Sub-judice Convention requires members to refrain from making reference in debate, motions and questions to matters before the courts where this would prejudice court proceedings.
This won't.
However, just wait. However, this danger of prejudice needs to be considered against the public interest and freedom of debate in the House, which may outweigh potential prejudice. I note that the Sub-judice Convention is more strictly applied in relation to criminal matters, particularly those that have proceeded to a charge and may come before a jury. So all I wanted to do was caution you to be mindful of any comments that may have the potential to prejudice any criminal proceedings.
I'm talking about gagging.
That's okay. I just wanted to put that
so
on the
I
record.
feel like I'm being gagged here now.
You're not being gagged. I've stopped the clock.
I feel like it.
Beg your pardon. Do not sort of speak back to me. I have stopped the clock. I've given you counsel, and I'm just warning you just to be mindful of those things. And I've consciously saved your time. So please don't speak back to the chair. I'm being quite respectful to you. I ask for that to be returned. So please be mindful not to make any comments that might prejudice any action before the courts.
It won't.
Thank you.
The events of this month will make every journalist think twice about approaching our elected leaders. Maybe that's their aim. The Friendlyjordies were about to release that documentary, as I've said, on National Water Party corruption and illegal water use. Now they're too busy fighting battles in the court to complete this and expose the government. Most politicians in this chamber and in Canberra have remained silent about this shocking abuse of power, perhaps because they dislike the Friendlyjordies and their style. But what about what's happened to Kristo and in his family home was simply an extreme example of a creeping trend that should terrify us all. Our free speech is under threat. It's not just journalists or YouTube comedians that are silenced. In Australia today, doctors and nurses are not allowed to express their views on healthcare. Teachers are not allowed to speak about education. Child protection workers are banned from expressing their views about child abuse. Elected councillors cannot talk about council matters. Heck, there's even cleaners who are forbidden from talking about cleanliness. This sad state of affairs has happened gradually and without much resistance. First, government departments hold their employees or tell them not to speak to the media. Every comment needs to be vetted by the media team. We see that in the Brittany Higgins saga. The first policy to change in the wake of alleged rape in Parliament House was to make talking to the media a sackable offence. Sackable. That's where our priorities lie. But media gags are only a start. Government departments are now monitoring their employees' private social media pages. Bosses have sacked workers for writing their own personal opinion in their own time. Corporations started to copy government departments and introduce their own gags. Over time, these policies have become regulations and laws. Like with Kristo's arrest, most people just accept that's now the way of life. We have learned to self-censor ourselves and do what we're told. The only way we can stop this is if we all speak up, all of us. It's easy to silence one, but impossible to silence many. A powerful man cannot sue anyone, and a police force can't arrest a nation. If you believe in free speech, now's the time to speak up, or we'll forever be held down. Thank you.
Thank you. Call the member for Hornsby.